normally don't comment on that kind of stuff, and I respect people who go deep into metrics. They do a lot of work. But how you come to the conclusion that Myles Garrett was better than T.J. Watt by 91 point whatever it was to 72 point something, you explain that to me. How does that work? That should never, ever be the case. Can't you trust your eyes? Do you have to always look at whatever you're looking at? And what were you looking at?
Yeah. They said Dan Moore was the worst offensive tackle in the entire league in week 2, which I'm not saying he had a great game, but to hold Myles Garrett to one quarterback hit, if you had given that stat to Mike Tomlin before the game, he would have been elated. He would have been overjoyed. He would have been beaming with pride that his left tackle shut down that guy that way. Or maybe he would have guessed Myles Garrett went and played another position on the defensive line. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I thought Pro Football Focus, I do like those guys a lot, but, man, did they blow it with that rating for last night's game.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is stats can say whatever you want you to say, but listen, they've limited Nick Bosa, they've limited Myles Garrett, and now they have Max Crosby. Speaking of stats, we have Char D. Mac Dennis on Twitter who says Chargers have scored 58 points, 0 turnovers, and they're 0-2. If anyone who's on a hot streak for a head coach, it has to be Brandon Staley. To me, you can't go 0-2 with that roster, but there they are. And that stat is just as almost incredible as what we talked about here with the Steelers. So, bottom line, let's get right to it. We have a lot of calls here, Andrews. Let's get right to our number one Cochran Go One Better call of the night. We'll begin with Will in McKees Rocks. Will, you are the caller of the night. Thanks.
Oh, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. A real quick pump, congratulations on your grandson.
Thank you. Little Sonny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
And I absolutely anything for you. But my question for you and Andrew tonight was, I really was wondering if you could explain to me why Coach Tomlin is defending Matt Canada the way he is.
I sense less of defense today, although, again, he's part of what goes into that. He's the head coach, and he understands all of that. I can't believe, though, the one, and a lot of people may mention this, it made me crazy when I saw a 3rd and 1 when they're trying to run out a clock here and just keep the ball away from Cleveland. And they line, pick it up in the shotgun, and the next thing you know, he's running to his right 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He's very good at quarterback sneaks and doing that sort of thing. That didn't make any sense. And then when you start a second straight game with 5 possessions and 1 first down, just like last week, I mean, come on.
Yeah, and Tomlin got into it about how they need to start faster, and a lot of that had to do with coordinating and what they do during the week, which I thought, that fell back on Matt Canada. So that was as much of a call-out or a criticism as you'd get from Tomlin on Matt Canada. But then when the whole thing came up about the fire Canada chance, he said, I'm not concerned because I'm part of the process. Okay, Mike, you're a defensive coach. You've hired Randy Fichtner and Matt Canada as your offensive coordinators. With all due respect, I don't think you know offensive football like some of these other offensive wizards in the league. Your Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Mike McDaniel in Miami, dudes like that. Matt Canada's not cut from that cloth either, clearly. He is not. But, Bob, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we're stuck with this guy. There might have been some hint on Tomlin's part of being annoyed with the way they started games. He should be. But I don't think a change is coming. And they talked about, he said today, we got to get our preseason mojo back. Mike, you were playing against second and third string guys when that happened. I love what you do on preseason games, Bob, but if we've learned anything in the first 2 games, what happens there is not transferable into the regular season, unfortunately, because other teams don't take the preseason seriously anymore. So you do, they don't, and it gives you, I think, a false impression about how good you are.
I totally agree with that. And now here they are facing a lot of pressure, though I will say the 2 teams they've played have really good stout defenses. And I don't know if you can say the same for the teams coming up. So we'll see if there's some progression there, especially with Kenny Pickett.
There better be.
Yeah, there has to be, or they're going to lose, because you cannot expect the defense to do what they do like that every single night. It's just not going to happen. All right, let's go out to Harry in Harmony in line 4. What's up, Harry? Haven't heard you in a while. What's going on?
Hey, Pop and Pony. Thanks for the hard work tonight, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
There's definitely a lot of negatives to take away from the offense. And, the lack of the tight end was definitely strange. But overall, as far as positives, I mean, it was Presley Harvin's best game. That hold was incredible. He was great. And I don't think that there's enough talk about the importance of that 70-plus yard touchdown strike to Pickens. When was the last time we saw the Steelers have a big play like that? I mean, I can't even recall it.
Yeah, and you know what I like about that, Harry, is that on that play, and it looked like a blown assignment, but I don't think it was. The more I think about it, it was, first of all, they pulled Mason Cole. Second of all, if you look at Kenny Pickett, the one thing he really is good at, even amidst all the struggle, is that he can look left, come back right, know where people are. And I think he made that play by drawing a safety in another direction, creating a little bit more space. And you give him space, Pickens is going to go that distance.
Yeah, they had no quick strike scoring last year, so they needed it in this game. The offense did almost nothing, had one of the worst performances of the season so far, even worse than last week in some ways. But they did get that one play, which was non-existent in their offense. I want to give credit to the guy that played before, though. If we're handing out any kind of game ball or award for offensive play in this game, how about my guy Jaylen Warren? If he does not get that 3rd and 10, where he's got no blockers and there's 3 Browns defenders there, that play never even happens,
exactly.
Bob.
It was the play
he got
right
the
before
first
it,
down
right.
there. Yep. And I think, look, he missed a block later in the game, and he hasn't hit a big run up the middle or anything yet, but man, that was a huge play. And Mike Tomlin today was asked straight up about who your running back 1 is, and he would not say Najee Harris, which last year at this time, Bob, we know what his answer would have been.
Totally agree with that. And, you know, the thing about Harris now on the 2-point conversion, what he did was not
what is
what
he
he was
doing
supposed
jumping
to
from
do.
the
That's
3-yard
what I mean.
line?
He's
not Michael Jordan.
But he's also a plower. He's supposed to get in the middle of it and happen. I'll say one thing about Jaylen Warren, boy. He gives you, as soon as he gets that ball, he is north and south and quick. And he's tougher than people think. And that 3rd and 10 play, which preceded a 71-yard play, showed you that. Bill in West Mifflin joins us right now. What's up, Bill? How are you doing?
Hey, Bill.
Bob, Andrew, thanks for having me. Yeah, I just wanted to comment when Cleveland ran their 2-point conversion in, they had a 295-pound guy there. And when Najee tried his, he don't have a fullback, or do we have a fullback?
Well, Kendrick Green's on another team, so, you know, no. They could, you know who they should put back there is Broderick Jones. If they're going to not use him for that, just stick him in the backfield.
Hey, Bob, I used to laugh about when we'd have callers to this great show and they'd say, get the fullback going, and Derek Watt, and I'd say, are you kidding me? Look at the Dolphins and 49ers. Arguably, the 2 best offenses in the league both use a ton of fullback, so it can be done.
Dave in Finleyville joins us right now on the Borders and Borders hotline. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Dave.
Hi, Bob and Andrew. How you doing tonight?
Good, thanks.
I want to ask you a question. If Harris continues to get negative yards instead of positive yards, would you and Andrew consider benching him and starting McFarland and Jalen instead? I'll hang up.
No, McFarland's hurt right now, and I don't think that's even part of the equation. I think to me, what it should be is a 50-50 split for now and see where it goes. And if it means more time for Jaylen Warren as a starter, so be it. You know, just because you're a number 1 pick doesn't give you this job forever. And, you know, they're coming on a situation, too, Pony, where they got a 5th-year option discussion coming up next year. And so this is a big year for Najee Harris. I would expect more from him moving forward. But the offensive line's a mess at times, too.
And he did have 2 good runs, and they were, you know, he did make something out of nothing, going to the outside and cutting back. So I do want to include those, just to be fair here, because I usually rip the guy. Their offensive line, and specifically the interior of it, when we're talking about people I'm disappointed in offensively, of course I'm going to put Kenny 1 because I thought the guy was going to look like a Hall of Famer this year. But the inside guys like Bob Sayamalu, when is he going to show up?
I'm surprised.
For a game? All I heard about was what a great move, winning tradition. They raved about him in Philadelphia. Maybe they knew something that we didn't know. They didn't try as hard to keep him. They let him walk. I mean, they're trying to win a Super Bowl there. I've been very unimpressed. James Daniels is one of the highest paid guards in the NFL. Yep. He's got to be much better. So I don't know. I thought guard was going to be the strength of the team offensively. Those 2 guys have been pathetic in the first 2 games.
Yeah, I never saw that coming based on what we saw in the preseason and training camp. Anyway, we're due for a break. We have Herb, Josiah, Dan, and Nancy try to get you in when we come back. We're right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.